Well, it means more insecurity. While the court said that they weren't making a decision or taking a position on the underlying agency plans for how to carry out this workforce reduction, they did say that the Trump administration is likely to win their battle in the end. If you recall, Trump had signed an executive order back in February instructing agencies to carry out these, large-scale reductions, and then his Office of Management and Budget and the Personnel Management Office came up with some plans for that. And those plans were put on hold by a lower court in California, and this effectively lifts that court order that had blocked it at 19 different agencies, as you said.
What was the makeup here of which Supreme Court justices dissented and joined the majority, and did anything stand out in that decision-making to you?
Yes. Well, with these kind of emergency orders, we often don't get a head count of how each justice voted. But Ketanji Brown Jackson did dissent, and she wrote a dissent saying that that it actually it was harm-producing, and that it should have gone through Congress. And she was alone in that argument, except Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who's the senior liberal justice, had concurred with that issue, but she joined the majority, which has been kind of rare in cases involving the Trump administration, in particular this flurry of actions that have come to the court on an emergency basis. So that was unusual. It has in many of these orders, it's come down the 6-3 with the conservatives grouping together and the 3 liberal justices writing dissents.
Although the high court order isn't designed to be the final word in the case, it marks a significant milestone in the president's campaign to transform the federal workforce. The affected agencies include HHS, the IRS, the Veterans Affairs Department, the Labor Department, the Energy Department, and the EPA. So does this mean that people who work at those places, you said uncertainty or their jobs are less secure? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're still waiting to hear from the White House, but
okay.
It's most likely that this still has to go back to the lower court, and they have to review these plans and make the decisions on the merits. But again, the Supreme Court has indicated that the Trump administration is likely to win in the end.
What was the argument that the Trump administration made as to why they should be able to do this?
Well, that the president has the authority to redesign or reorganize the federal workforce, and that's the argument that it's his, under the Constitution, it's part of his role as the head of the executive branch.
Well, what did the side arguing against this is the American Federation of Government Employees. Right. What was their argument?
It was a group of labor unions and like advocacy organizations who sued, and they told the justices that it was important to keep the plan on hold until the courts could rule on whether it was legal or not. The firings were supposed to be implemented in just a matter of months, and they argued that it really was Congress really needed to rubber stamp this and give the president the authority.